Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining in. And my name is Alok, and I am co-founder of GoCrackIt. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to do some guesstimates, and I'll try to explain in that process what is the expectation of recruiter in guesstimates, and we'll try to do three different types of guesstimates. And the last one is kind of a guesstimate or a kind of a puzzle, right? So there are three things: first guesstimate, second guesstimate, and third guesstimate is like a puzzle, right? So we'll try to do that in next 20 minutes. And if you have any doubt, you can raise your hand, or you can raise your hand and ask. Otherwise, you can put it in the chat also, and I'll try to answer it during the discussion. Okay. So that's the agenda today. Let me share my screen. Right. Great. So yeah, hope you can see my screen. Okay, so all of you, right? As you might know already, and if you don't know, you can go to our YouTube channel where we have posted a lot of guesstimates. So I'm not going to get into the repetition of what is guesstimate and what is all that. Like, I will not getting into the context building. You can check our YouTube channel where this has been explained in detail. But just to briefly tell you, guesstimate, as you know, guess estimate, right? Which is you are going to estimate a number based on some guesses, based on some data which you might already know, right? So that's the idea. And what is expected from the recruiter is that if you are given an uncertain situation or a situation which you never thought about, how would you behave in that? How would you logically structure your approach, right? How do you get those numbers or guess those numbers? And how do you calculate under pressure, right? Which is also important. And then how do you defend that when a recruiter asks you questions which kind of rational, which ask you about rationals of your assumptions, right? Or cross questions of the recruiter. So that's the idea about guesstimate. We'll see what is the approach which recruiters expect you to take when they are asking this. So let's take this with the example of first guesstimate, which is okay. Let's start with this. How many movie tickets are sold in India annually? Okay. Now that's the question. Let's say this is a question they have asked you. The interviewer has given you. How would you approach this? What will be your first instinct? What exactly will you do? Tell me.
Just take population, Indian
Okay.
population.
Population.
After that we can divide on certain basis like urban and rural. So as rural population are most of in India, so from urban population, we will define like among a certain percentage of people have prone to movie, and among that a certain percentage of people will buy movie ticket on weekend and weekdays. Like,
Sure, sure. That's the right approach. I would suggest one more thing before doing that. Right. Right now, what all of you might want to do is directly jump to this question or to solve the problem. I would urge you, and that is what a recruiter is expecting you, that even before jumping to the structuring and giving numbers, take a step back and try to see if you can ask some clarifying question. That is one. Very important. Do you understand this problem clearly? What are some of the clarifying questions you may want to ask? That is one. And even more importantly, you should scope your solution. Okay, this is what I am going to calculate. Is it okay with you? So the first steps in any estimate or any problem solving, I would say clarify and scope it better so that you know and you have communicated that you are going towards the right direction. So clarification, some of the clarification question could be, should I consider both multiplexes or single screen theater? Should I include movies across all language or any specific language? Should I consider only India? Should I include both urban and rural area? Should I consider something else as well? All those things, right? So whenever you're asked any question, the first and foremost thing you should be doing is clarifying. That is the first part. And the second part is scoping it. Okay. Scoping means when you're clear what you want to calculate, just tell that to the recruiter. Okay, in this case, I will estimate the total number of movie tickets sold in India including both multiplexes and single screen theaters across urban and rural India. And I'm assuming a normal year of preparation. There's no COVID or nothing. Hope this is a fine, this is okay, or this is fine for you, or this is okay with you. This scope is okay with you. Now, if the recruiter wants you to kind of change something, they will tell you. Otherwise, they will say, okay, go ahead, this looks fine. So always, otherwise you can calculate so many things and you don't know what you're calculating until you come to a number and or you hit a roadblock, right? So always try to put a clarification question and try to give clarification question, ask clarifying question, and you might get some clarification, or you might just say recruiter might say, okay, you assume whatever you want to assume. And second, you want to scope it. Okay, this is what I am going to do. Hope this is okay with you. Okay, that is something you should definitely do before starting any guesstimate. So the first step is clarification and scoping. Now the second step is approach. Again, what I would say, think like this for the approach. What are the 3 to 5 factors? What are those 3 to 5 factors, right? The broad level factors which can help you calculate this number. Tell me. Think in 3 to 5 buckets. 3 to 5 buckets. What are those 3 to 5 buckets, 3 to 5 factors which will help you to calculate this number? Tell me, what could be those factors? And tell me a bucket of at least 3, not 1 or 2. Okay? Yeah. Put it in the chat. Or you can say also if you want. What are those 3 to 5 factors which you will need or you will use to come to this answer? Anyone?
So, sir, as no one is speaking, I thought I might speak. So, sir, as I already talked about, as we narrow down from the Indian population from urban to rural, also we can just do like weekend and weekday also,
Very
like
good. Excellent point. Yeah.
yeah, and also holiday, and we can go on holiday in a premium means discount also. I thought if
Yeah. So that's a good point. Very good point you made actually. Right. So let's see some of the factors which we should look at. And see, there's no one right answer. Okay. So you may be here and there, or if recruiter want that factor, they might say, okay, well, don't you think we should consider this also? So that is perfectly fine. But you need to show that you are going in a structured way. So let's see what 3 to 5 factors I considered. So one is population and demographics, very important. Like what is the population split? How many are there in, in urban, in rural, theater going penetration. What percentage of people might actually go to theater? Not everyone will want to go or will go to, go to theater, right? So how much percentage of people want to go or actually go to cinemas? Visiting frequency, very, very important, right? How many times in a year they might go, right? And that's where, you have to see that how many percentage of people will be really, more, how many times they want to go and all that. And affordability, how many people can afford it. So even affordability makes a very important space, because maybe a poor person may not want to, even at the cheapest theater also, maybe 50 rupees or 30 rupees or whatever it is, it might be difficult for him to buy that for multiple times. I'm not saying they will not go, but they might go a bit lesser in terms of frequency, right? So these are some of the things you might want to consider, right? You can also bring the frequency is kind of also, you can also bring the factors of peak loading and all that. That also can be a very good factor, right? So now you have given the factors. Now you need to calculate it. So you start calculating. So first is, let's assume that the population of India is 1.4 billion, and let's divide them in the age group, the demographics. So let's say 0 to 14 is 25%. So this much, kind of range you should know, right? You should know some range of the population. If you know, that will be better, right? So you kind of calculate So you multiply 25% by 1.4, so you get this number, you get this number, you get this number, and you get this number. So now you know the population and the age group distribution of the population. Now what you will do, the age group, how much percentage of that age group might want to go to theater. So you know that maybe kids may not go that much because they cannot go independently, and some of the movies are also not there for them, they will not understand and all that. So let's say hence that is a lower percentage. I am assuming these people like 15 to 44 is the biggest chunk of the people who might want to go movies to theaters, then a bit lesser, and then a bit lesser on the increasing age group. And then when you calculate it, you get some number, billion potential theater goer. They are not, yeah, potential theater goers are the nomenclature of this particular column. Now, so we have what we have done. Uh, what we have done, we have seen the population. We have also calculated the theater going people. Now let's assume a frequency, and we need to club this affordability and frequency. Meaning, let's say we have theater goer like this, and let's say, yeah, let's say this is the theater goers. Let's say poor people, let's divide the population based on their affordability. So let's say we have poor segment of people, middle income segment of people, and rich segment of people. I have assumed poor as 60%, which we might assume and to be correct, because we cannot say that India is a rich country and then it will be loaded towards this. It has to be loaded towards this side. Hence, I have taken poor as 60%, and you should know some of the demographics numbers. That will be great for you. So let's say poor are 60%, middle income group are 30%, rich are 10%. Now, what I've assumed is that poor people, kid, might only go once, twice, or thrice in a year. Similarly, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Let's say poor 65 plus do not go. Poorest 65 plus middle class 1, rich 2. So basically, I try to create some segmentation, and you can make it a bit easier also if you want. But ultimately, you are showing that you are thinking in a structured way. That is much more important for you. So what we have done, we have taken this number. Sorry, yeah, we have taken population and demographics number. We kind of created a potential theater going people. Then we club this. How based this affordability, how many people might want to go, might be going to cinema per year, and we got one number, which is this much, addition of this much. So these are the number of billion movie tickets which we might get sold, which might get sold in a year in India. Now, another thing before we move ahead to next, you should know, as I said, you should know some numbers. So you should know global population, Indian population, some demographics numbers is good to know. So you should know that. That will be really helpful for you. Now, once you calculate this number, you might want to do a sanity check, just a sense check, right? That whether it is good or not. So let's say we know the Indian population is 1.4 billion and number of ticket estimated is 1.55, which we have calculated, which is approximately one ticket per capita, which looks okay to me. You might kind of this thing it. Our recruiter might say, no, no, it looks fine or whatever. It doesn't look fine. You can say, this is what I have observed. I think one ticket per person in a year looks okay to me. But definitely, since I have taken a lot of assumptions, it might be here and there, but it will not be very much. It will not vary so much that Indians go 10 times a year on an average in movie theaters, right? Something like that. So you should show your confidence, your discussion with the recruiter, because that discussion is important. That discussion shows your logical thinking under stress, right? So you need to perform during the stress, right? And hence you're having this discussion with the recruiter. With that, you have shown a clear approach to the recruiter that I will clarify the question, I will scope it, I will take a confirmation of that scope, I will think in 3 to 4 or 5 factors or buckets through which I should calculate that number after scoping it. I will estimate that number, right, with some calculations, and then I'll do a sense check, quick sense check, and maybe I'll answer some questions or some objections which recruiters say with using logic. If I am incorrect, and if you think what recruiter is saying, okay, this you have forgot, why don't you use this also? Be gracious enough to say, yes, I think that could be also a good factor. And this is how it will impact. If it impacts substantially, then definitely you have missed a big point. But accepting that is not going to harm you. So accept that. But let's say after accepting that and you calculate it and it has a very lower impact, you can say, yeah, this is a good point. But as we can see, it has not substantially impacted our number. Like that, you should have a logical connection with the recruiter. Let me take a pause here. This is the first guesstimate and this is the first flow. Any question here, anyone? Then we go to second guesstimate. Okay, so let's go to second guesstimate. Now this guesstimate is a bit different guesstimate. The first as compared to the first one. So let's see what is the difference. So okay, estimate the average daily per uses, average electricity uses per household. Multiply by total households and yeah. Okay, so basically question is, what is the total electricity consumption? What is the electricity consumption in a city? Let's take any city. Let's take a city which has 1 crore population. How will you calculate the total electricity consumption of a city? Anyone? You can put it in the chat box also. Okay. 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 So let's see. Let me share my screen again. Let me share it. There's some issue I'm facing. Yeah, got it. Okay. So let's see that. How much electricity we might want to consume, we might be consuming in a city. So let's see. Again, I'm not going to step by step each approach now. I am directly going to the crux of the matter, but definitely use the entire flow when you are solving guesstimates along with your in an interview. Okay, so I'm directly going to the crux of the discussion. So step one, estimate number of households. So let's say we are talking about a city which has a population of 10 million, 1 crore. Okay, 10 million is 1 crore. Yeah, and assume that you have a household of 4, because electricity generally when we talk about in individual electricity consumption, we are talking about households. So let's say there are 10 million city population. Let's say average household size is 4 people, hence your total households are 2.5 million households. Now let's calculate generally in a house how much electricity is consumed. So when you do that, now that you might know because of your electricity bill. If you know that, you can always have a some estimate like how many times, how much time light and fans kind of this thing it, and what is their energy consumption. Like fridge is 24 hours, energy consumption is 1.5 kilowatt hour. TV and electronics is 4 to 5 hours, electricity consumption is 1 kilowatt hours per day, like that, right? And AC, not all homes, hence assuming that we have 3 kilowatt hours, right? Something like that. And some certain miscellaneous is 1.5. So you know that you have 9 kilowatt hours per day, or you can calculate it with the help of your monthly electricity bill. Let's say in a normal home, let's say a middle class home or a poor home, maybe it will be 500 to 1000 rupees per month. And let's say you have electricity charges 5 rupees. So per month it is 200 units. So per day it will be around 7 units, right? So whatever way, right? It's just a, like, either you're doing very very bottom up. If you don't want to do, you take a approach wherein you're assuming that your electricity bill is this much. Okay, let me show you that. So let's say on an average, the thing electricity bill is, let's say 300. Sorry, 300. Let's say 1,000 rupees. Okay. I mean, and you can use your data because we are just talking about on an average. And let's say the electricity rates are 5 rupees, like per unit. So you know that in a month you're using 200 units electricity. So in a day, you're approximately using 7 units a day. And that's what we are also getting at 9 kilowatt hour per day. Right. So this, I mean, you can use any way which right at that time you can think of, and then you can calculate that. So let's say we calculated 9 kilowatt hour per day, and and we are talking about, one second, let me remove this. Huh. So now residential, and we know we have estimated that we have 2.5 million residents. So in a day, we are using 22.5 kilowatt hours per day by residents. Okay. Now let's calculate the commercial consumption. Your commercials is your offices, malls, shops. You can take a rule of thumb that it will be 1.5 times the residential, because there are more electricity and more those things. 1.5, 2, 3, it is also okay. And then you calculate that. So you got 34 million kilowatt hours per day. So you got individuals one, you got commercial one, and you also got industrial. So again, you can take, let's say, one time residential, so approximately 22.5 kilowatt hour per day. So approximately that much, you know, you are consuming per day. So if you add this, it is almost 80 million units per day, right? Now you may want to do a sanity check, so you should know some numbers, as I said. Or if you don't know, just remember this, that India per capita electricity uses 1200 units per year. If you do it for one day, you'll get something 33 million kilowatt hour per day for residents. And then if you take a factor of 2 to 2.5, total milake, you'll get 70 to 80 million kilowatt hour per day for the total India, which looks fine to me as this. I mean, even if it varies to 100 or 50 or 60, that's okay. That we are not calculating a very, very specific number. It's just an approach which we want to show. It's just that how do you really respond in a pressure situation is what matters in a guesstimate. So that's the second guesstimate. And now okay, before that, if you have noticed, we have taken the first guesstimate where we have estimated the movie tickets, right? We have started with the population. We started with the population, then we did see how many users go to, percentage of people who go to theater. Then we see how many of them can afford it and their frequency. So it's a very top-down method. Versus here, we have started with bottom-up. We have taken one household, how much that one household might consume the electricity, and then we moved to the entire nation, right? So that is called bottom-up approach. You keep practicing your guesstimates, keeping these two methods in mind. You will, when you do a lot of guesstimates, you will have a sense which guesstimate uh, approach is better. But mostly a lot of people use top-down approach, which is good. Sometimes you might want to use bottom-up approach as well. So just keep that in mind, right? With that, let's go to last guesstimate. And as I said, the last guesstimate is not actually, it's a puzzle, right? And it's a very simple puzzle. I think you might know this also, but I wanted to share this with you. A lot of companies, including banks, including analytics companies, sometimes finance companies, might want to give you a puzzle, or even coding companies like software companies, right? Product management role, for example, they might want to give you a simple puzzle. I mean, that happens, right? These companies give, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft. I have seen they giving puzzles, like simple puzzles. I mean, simple when you're not in interview. When you're in an interview, that becomes a bit tricky. So let's see that. So let's say this is a very classic problem. Let's say you have two jugs. One is 5 liter jug and one is 3 liter jug. Now you need to calculate 4 liters exactly. You have a lot of water with you. You need to calculate, 4 liter this thing, uh, 4 liter water. How will you do that? So what I was telling you, till now we have two approaches, top down. So we have seen one guesstimate, which is on how many movie tickets you'll. So till the time you think about it, I'm just recapping for everyone. That first guesstimate we did, which is how many movie tickets are sold in India annually. What we have done there is we have seen the entire approach, and we have calculated from top down way. Right? We have calculated from top down, right? We started with population. We discussed how many percentage of people might go to movies, and then we'll discuss based on their income level, how many frequency in a year they might want to go. And we got some numbers, and then we did some sanity check. Then second one we did, which is bottom up, where we have to estimate average electricity daily use. So what we did for that, we took the entire approach, but exactly what we have done, we have taken one household, and with some way we calculated the per household electricity consumption, either with your average electricity bill, or if you know more granularly with your appliances, and you give some numbers to that, and you got some numbers. So ultimately you got one household, how much electricity they are consuming per day, and then you multiplied it with the total number of households, and then you calculated commercial and industrial ones as well, and then you kind of did a sense check. Now this is, and I've discussed it, there's a top down method and there's a bottom up method. The last one is kind of a puzzle, as I said, that it can be used by a lot of finance companies, product companies, analytics companies, or internal marketing companies also. Anyone can ask. I mean, I won't put a this thing tag that only these kind of companies will ask. So anyone who thought about this, you can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and tell me. If you have two jugs, 5 liter and 3 liter, and you need to measure exactly 4 liters, right? How will you do that? And there's no other this thing. There's no other way to measure the water. How will you do this?
Do we have only those two jugs, or do we have some other container to pour the water?
No, only jugs.
Okay.
So in the possible, because we don't have that much time, let me go through the solution. But you can expect these kind of questions. So let's see. Step 1, fill the 5 liter jug completely. So now you have 5 liter water, and 3 liter jug is empty. Now pour 5 liter into 3 liter until 3 liter is full. So now you have 5 liter jug, 2 liter, and in 3 liter you have 3 liter jug, 3 liter water. That's step 3. Empty the 3 liter jug. You have emptied the 3 liter jug. Then what happened? You have 5 liter jug 2 and 3 liter jug 0, because you have emptied it. Step 4. Pour the remaining 2 liter from 5 liter into 2 liter. So what you have done, this 2 liter you have transferred to this. So 5 liter is 0, 3 liter is 3 liter jug has 2 1. Now step 5 is interesting. Fill the 5 liter jug again. So now what happened? Earlier it was 0 and then 2. Now it is 5 and 2. So now you have a jug, you have a 5 liter jug with 5 liter filled on it, and you have a 3 liter jug which is 2 liter filled on it. And then the step 6 is pour from 5 liter into 3 liter until 3 liter is full. Now what is happening? When you do that, your 3 liter jug is full, and your 5 liter, because you have given 1 liter to 3 liter, is having exactly 4 liter water. Did you understand it, everyone? This screen is the full solution. I was just showing you one by one, but this screen is full solution. Did you understand this? Please,
Yes.
Hannah, yeah, please give me. So you need to see, right? And don't get bogged down. You have to do some practice. I show, even if you don't know, just try to attempt it. Say, okay, you have that spirit of interview. Okay, right now I'm thinking, but I'm getting stuck here, but I'm trying, I'm using my logical mind. With that kind of conversation with the recruiter, even if you're not able to solve a problem, you will be able to have a good conversation with the recruiter, which is what they would like more, rather than have you solved it or not, have you solved it in less time or not. That could be a next thing. Okay, so this is how you need to do. Just to summarize what I'm saying, when you're doing a guesstimates, ask clarifying question, put a scope clearly, take a confirmation of that scope from the recruiter. For structuring your factors, think about 3 to 5 factors for calculating that particular guesstimate. Do not overcomplicate with multiple factors. Don't think 100 factors. 3 to 5 major factors. Later on, if you can want to go do, once you have one set of calculation, if you want to tweak that calculation with some minor things, you can do that. But don't start with 100 factors. Round off calculation, sense check, take interviewers hint, and most importantly, do not give up. That is the last thing you want to go. Nobody knows what will be the final number, even the recruiter. You just have to show a logical framework and a confidence and the communication during that discussion. And this is the approach, as I said, step by step. Clarity is in scope, approach, estimate, and sense check. Yeah, these are some of the resources. You can go through our website. Someone should send you one link where you can get all these resources, and you can go to GoCrackIt. So definitely go to GoCrackIt YouTube channel where we are posting all these videos. So I think till now you will get, I don't know, 10 to 15 guesstimates and 5, 6 or 10 case studies in our channel, and plus also about finance and other things also. You can go visit, refer us to others so that others can also get benefited from these content. And these are all the contents are based on our experience of conducting 63,000 mentoring session, one-on-one session, helping student to get into different companies. Okay. So yeah, and we have some courses. You can explore these courses also on Guesstimate, on consulting, on product management. We also do one-on-one mentoring. If you're interested, you can come to our website. You can refer to your institute who can approach us, and we can collaborate. We have been working with almost all bigger IIMs. I am Bangalore, I am Lucknow, XLRI, I am Indore, I am Lucknow, right? Uh, major institutes and other different institutes, right? Please reach out to us individually or through your campuses, and we'll be more than happy to collaborate with them. And thank you so much. My name is Alok Srivastav, as I said, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me see if I can share my, yeah, I can share my this thing. So all the very best. If you have any question, I can stay here and I can answer that. So let me know if you have any question. Otherwise, we can discuss. Yes, yes, Gautam.
Sir, I have a question regarding like मतलब सर जब तक पता होता है कि इस चीज का है तो तब तक तो एस्टिमेट कर सकते हैं कि हाँ, बाकी सर जैसे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का आ गया जिसका कोई नॉलेज नहीं है तो सर उसमें कैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे?
Take interview's head. Ask him. This is totally new for me. I have not thought about it. Could you tell me some specific factors which I should think about? See, there are two types of questions. One type of question is, for example, I'm just making it up. Let's say, what is the GDP of USA? If you don't know, you just say don't know. But if they say estimate the GDP of USA, then you need to use your logical mind. If you don't know the factors, ask recruiter what factors should I take, or I think these are the 3 4 factors which I. So keep the conversation on. Don't make it as a Q&A round that if you don't know the answer, you can't answer it. You're getting my point, right?
Yes, sir.
And have that confidence to hold a conversation with the recruiter, irrespective of how much you know the content or not. Right? So ask questions, ask clarifying questions. Think about yourself. What would it impact? In my home, there are 5 lights. At least calculate for your home.
Okay, sir.
Think about your home's electricity consumption. Some reference you should use. And for that, keep reading, keep practicing, so that you're making yourself broader in terms of knowledge. Right? Newspaper, in general analysis, it give you some inputs for future. You cannot always prepare for everything. But once you start doing all these things, even the non-known problem you will start solving. And even if you can't solve, you can definitely learn to hold a conversation with the recruiter.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Yes. Great. Any other question, please? Okay, then if there are no questions, yeah, let's keep in touch. Thank you so much for joining in. Visit our YouTube channel. I think someone would have sent you the link. Okay, let me send you if I can find that. You can go
Yes,
there and
I will.
all the previous guesstimates and all the previous case studies, all the previous resources which we have been sharing, which you can go through, and not only in YouTube, but you can also go through our website, in which we have given a lot of free resources. Let me see if I can share that link also with you. Okay, then. Thank you so much. Bye bye. All the best.